Today, we are talking about how to build emotional connection with your audience, how to use a storytelling approach, which is often used in cinematography, but how you can use it for your video marketing, for your personal brand, and why it is important for you to get more clients with this approach without aiding the direct persuasion or without following your customers desperately for purchase, what people do with the cold messaging and stuff like that. Using this approach was always the most expensive strategy in branding, and as I've been in branding industry and advertising industry for over 20 years, and I built my career from designer to creative director, we often did use this for our highest level clients such as 500 Fortune companies, huge corporates, because this is the most effective method. Though this method is also very expensive, because to use storytelling approach, you really need to master a few skills or hire a very skilled copywriter. In fact, to write something like as advertorial or to create the storytelling approach for the brand, you need to hire the copywriter, which is usually charged 10x over the regular copywriter. If you, as a business owner, as coach, as leader, want to understand what the storytelling approach is, let's dive into it. So the first thing which I want to share with you, the storytelling means that you know who your audience is. You need to understand what your audience think about day by day, what is their pain, what are their fears, what are their dreams, where they are now, and where they want to be, and how your product help them or can help them potentially to solve their problem. And we're talking about service-based businesses. Most of the time I deliver most of my services to service-based businesses, to coaches and leaders, because this approach requires to understand behavior of your customers way more than that what they do. This is a major difference between product-based businesses and the service-based businesses, because it's important to understand how your customer behave and why do they need this service in regards of this behavior, versus when we talk about brick and mortar businesses, when we think about what customers do on a daily basis, and that's why they need our product or our tool, let's say. So this is very different approach to the industry, if you will think it like that. So if you're a coach, if you're a leader, that will be interesting approach for you, because customers buying your story. In case of the storytelling method, they are buying the story of someone with whom they can resonate, in whom they can recognize themselves, and they can recognize their future self. So it's a method which involves trust, involves recognition, and involve a few interesting tips and tricks which we're going to discuss today. So I want to share with you the major idea. If you are a coach, if you are a leader, usually you would have some transformational story. And this story have to be spoken from the scars, not from the open wounds. That is the first and most important rule of the good story. You have your story completed. You got your ideas, you got your wounds, you got your scars, and you know now what it all was about. You know why this story was important for you, how the story transformed you, and it happened a while ago. Now, what is the difference between spoken from the open wounds? Most of the people, when they are in the state of trauma, they start sharing the story which is hurtful for them. So they didn't yet gain the wisdom, and the story hurts them yet. So therefore, they are looking for people who are guilty or for the circumstances to blame. And this story doesn't give the wisdom to the listeners. They might sympathize you, but they will not see you as a teacher. They will not see you as a service provider. So as a coach, as a service-based business, as a leader, if you want to attract customers with your story, you need to speak from the scars. Now, this story might be incredibly transformational for you. For example, One of my clients had a very long story which started from her divorce. And she was talking a lot about her relationships with her husband, and the story started long ago, and it was still hurtful for her. But her transformational part of the story started when she moved into the new house. Now, she had 80% of the story about her relationship with her husband to make her comfortable, because she was speaking from the open wounds. She didn't feel comfortable sharing the story from the perspective of pure transformation. She was talking about the pain which she experienced, and that people sympathized her. People didn't see her as transformative coach. So when we worked together, I recommended her to remove the part of the story which is so painful for her, maybe add it later, but start from the transformation. And from the moment when she was forced to overcome certain circumstances which were particularly difficult for her. This makes her story really short, very crisp, and instantly on point. And that's really important to understand. Your customers do not have much time to listen to your story when they don't know you yet. So also, storytelling method cannot be used in a super quick videos like TikTok or, shorts, reels. The storytelling method can be used in a longer format. The reason is you can use elements of storytelling in the short form of videos or visual storytelling when you don't need words. But storytelling method works a lot better when people invest their time to listen to the story. Imagine this, when people were sharing the first story, and honestly speaking, I think you heard it from many people when they say, well, the storytelling method is the most ancient method of how we attract friends, customers, relationships, because we were sharing the stories near the fireplace like forever, for eternity, for centuries. And imagine this idea of sitting near a fireplace or near the fire and sharing the story involve one important component, and this component called time. And if your customer or your prospect doesn't have the time to listen to your story, and they will, for example, listen it in 2x speed, or they will not have time to get into details, they'll just listen the outcome of the story or the broad idea, and they will not be involved emotionally. The key instrument of the story to build emotional connection with your customers. This is the most important aspect of that. So when you build this emotional connection, when people are willing to listen to you, then this connection happens. Now, therefore, when you use short form videos, think about the strategy to attract people through the short form of video towards the longer format when people are ready to invest in you. And that's how you're supposed to build your funnel for your business and see the KPIs, the processes which help you to convert your viewers to buyers. Now, I want you to think about the third aspect of that. We were talking about the story, which is transformational. Your story is picked from the scars, not from the open wounds. The second part, people need time to invest in you emotionally. And the third part, which is really important, it's all about how people react to your story and why do they react to your story. So what happens when people listen to you? I think number one, they hear the story, they hear the idea, and the first reaction is, oh, I can recognize myself in it. I can hear myself in this story. I can hear myself be in this situation, or I am in this situation right now, or I would like to be in her position right now. So that's why I say we dealing with fears, pain, frustrations, dreams, and desires. So when we talk about the future, this is where people want to be. This is the after. When we talk about the past, your past, it's there now. So people can recognize themselves in your story. And this recognition, this correlation, is the reason why they're going to listen for the whole story. So if they connect with you on pain aspect, so if your past tap into the current pain, they will be willing to listen to your story, because they'll be like, it looks like this person been exactly where I am right now. They probably know something. And if you instantly tell them that, well, I wanted to be somewhere, and this dream or desire correlate with them as well, they're like, oh, and they reach there already. Amazing. Let me listen to this story. So giving you an example, when I started my first videos, I was already in a great position. I was in leadership position in my agency. I was creative director, and I was terrible with videos. It's really, really terrible. And I thought I'm ugly, if my clients will run away from me, and so many other ideas came in my mind, and I blocked myself from creating videos for over 4 years. So I know how this painful idea of showing up for your brand feels like. And trust me, it doesn't go anywhere. What you need to understand is how you communicate and connect with your fears, how you deal with your fears, because fear is not an option. You can overcome your fears, you can work with your fears, and you can be way more effective when you know how your brain works with these fears. And I understood it based on my personal experience when I told myself a lot of very negative internal conversations. I thought I'm ugly. I thought my background is cheap. I thought everything is wrong in my life. I bought 3 cameras in that 4 years period, about 2 microphones. Nothing was right. One thing which I didn't do, I didn't start my videos. So when I started my videos 4 years after, I couldn't imagine that, in that challenge which I took, 4 days after the beginning, I could create videos. For 4 years, I couldn't create any videos. And then in 4 days, I created 4 videos. And that's why this was very fascinating learning for me. And I started digging into neuroscience, into psychology, why that happened, why I couldn't, why I could. And that helped me to create my own program called Visibility Gym to help leaders and coaches to show up confidently for their clients, whether it is Zoom call, whether it is public speaking, whether it is video on their YouTube channel. Because the level of confidence which people get when they overcome glossophobia, which is, by the way, 93% of people in the world affected by glossophobia, fear of public speaking. So when you're overcoming this fear, when you learn how to deal with this fear, the level of confidence which you get is absolutely amazing. So these are 3 aspects which I wanted to share with you today. And I hope that this idea will help you to understand how emotionally people connect with you through the story. So first, when they hear your story, and this is spoken from the perspective of wisdom, you set the level of trust. People see that you are not emotionally involved, you are not blame anybody, you are so strong in your position, they believe in you. The second one, when you start building this relationship through short form of video, blog posts, connections of any kind, people ready to invest in a longer forms of videos with you, maybe your speeches, webinars, maybe your videos, these allow people to be involved with the story. Story requires time. And the third one is when people can recognize themselves in your story. And this is when they take the next step and they book the call with you, or they start connecting with you more, and they want to continue this journey with you. Those are 3 components which are necessary to build really effective emotional connection with the storytelling. And we're going to talk about storytelling a lot more during this year. And I hope it will help you to build very successful service-based business, coaching business, or lead your company and team with confidence. And I will see you in my next video. Please follow for the events, which I'm going to post a lot more during this year, because Our next premiere, the premiere of my documentary, will be on the 1st of March, and I hope you will check it out. If it is on the 1st of March, absolutely welcome to the premiere. If it is after that, please watch my first documentary. It's an amazing film about wonderful people who are helping Ukraine with ambulances, and these people are true heroes. I'm very, very happy that this film was created, and I'm very happy for all the team which helped me to create this amazing documentary. And I hope it will help you to restore your hope in humanity, and it will help you to learn and practice your storytelling for your business based on the many different documentaries which I'm going to share this year with you. And I will see you in my next video. Subscribe, comment, and let's connect on LinkedIn.